body positivity. Switching from hating, loathing, or resenting our bodies and ourselves into loving, appreciating, and embracing ourselves is available to all of us. Hi, I'm Brian. I'm a weight loss and a life coach, and I'm inspired to share my thoughts today and what insights I have. Because, a trans friend of mine shared that they were struggling with their body dysmorphia and their general dysphoria. And I wanted to offer what help I can, both to them and to anyone else who may be struggling with body image issues, struggling with the way you think about you. Now, I want to say up front, of course, that I recognize my privilege here as a cisgendered white male. I don't pretend to speak to the lived experience of my trans friends, or even to my overweight friends. Nor do I believe that all trans people or all overweight people think the same way or have the same experiences. I know for a fact that that isn't the case. But I do want to speak today from my experience of being overweight and of hating my body for so much of my life. And from the experiences that I've encountered with every single one of the clients that I've worked with over these last 13 years. And I do this in the hope that it invites, encourages, or helps you shift into the belief that loving yourself is an option that's always available to you, and that you are worth celebrating. Now, if you find that statement challenging, perhaps start today just with allowing yourself, for the length of this video, to consider that it's possible for you to change how you feel about you and about your body. I do believe that we are unique and that we should embrace this uniqueness. I believe that we should celebrate ourselves as the beautiful, flawed, complete, and perfectly imperfect humans that we are. I know that that sounds like a contradiction, but I really do believe that it's more effective, it's healthier, and it moves us forward. I invite you today to consider this possibility, even if for no other reason that accepting feels better than hating or loathing or resenting. And know that appreciating feels better than accepting, and loving feels better than appreciating. In my journey, throughout all of my years and all the clients that I've worked with, I've learned that trying to change from a place of hating ourselves is self-defeating. Yes, it can motivate us to get started, and sometimes I've seen occasionally people go all the way to create the results that they want. But can't keep it. Because hating yourself feels bad. If you've done it, you know. And of course, if you're hating the process of change, the time, the effort, the methods, and you're hating yourself through that process of change, then all you're really doing is reinforcing the habit of self-rejection. And so when you get to goal, if you get there, or when you get there, that's what you'll have. That's the skill you'll have practiced. And then you've got the added trouble, challenge, concern of the transformation itself no longer being the fuel for change, being the motivator. When that motivation will drop away, then your brain will want to revert to what it knows best. And I know this from my own lived experience. It took me 9 months at my goal weight to realize that my image of myself was no longer accurate. I had spent a lifetime hating on my body. And although I had done the work to change my eating and my exercise habits, enough to lose 50 kilos, my brain came with me. It was only then, when I realized that nothing had magically changed, I wasn't magically more attractive, than I was before. I wasn't magically overwhelmed with suitors and business opportunities and riches. That it was there that I had to start the work of changing the way I thought about myself. And it is work. Most of us have spent a lifetime building up unhealthy habits. And one of the reasons I think is because we think that when we achieve our transformation, that's when we'll be able to accept and love and celebrate ourselves, right? It'll be better there. We think it's going to be easier then. But it's not true. The work is the same. In the meantime, all we've done is spent more time reinforcing the thoughts, those habitual thought habits, the mindset that is neither healthy nor helping. I believe that mastery is a constant practice. It's a discipline, not a destination. And if we're going to live our best lives, we have to do the work of creating healthy thinking. When we can come to a place of loving ourselves enough, then all of the other healthy habits follow, right? We care enough about ourselves to eat healthier, to move more, to think kind thoughts about ourselves, to challenge ourselves, to grow, to learn. Right? It is from loving ourselves enough that we can create the change that we want. I was thinking about this video and the phrase, everybody has hang-ups, came to my mind. Now, maybe that's true, maybe it's not true, maybe some people, maybe you don't have hang-ups. But that phrase got me thinking, right? Everybody has hang-ups. I actually don't think that's true. I think every mind has habitual, self-critical thoughts. It's certainly true of me, and it's certainly true of everyone, every mind I've encountered in my life so far. I want to offer for you today that these thoughts, these self-critical thoughts, are optional. Habits are just choices we've repeated. So if we have habitual thinking, they're just thoughts we've thought many, many times. Perhaps we've learnt them or we were taught them, we've heard them in our upbringing, in our youth, in our development. Perhaps we've just never questioned them. We've just accepted that they were true, that this was the right way to be thinking. What if it's not? What if our masculinity or femininity is not defined by our physical attributes? What if it's not? As a gay man, I've had the opportunity to get a different perspective on, heteronormative gender roles and realize that they're just constructs, not truths. As queer people, we realize that roles and tasks that are typically assigned aren't from a specific gender. They don't apply to a specific gender. And we get to make with them what we will. I've also seen the pressure to conform to other people's expectations about having or being seen not to have certain levels, certain characteristics of masculinity or femininity. To be or to not to be too femme, too butch. But what if our attractiveness is not determined by our social media feed, by the media we consume, the movies, the TV shows, the lessons we've been taught from the authority figures in our lives growing up? What if it doesn't come from that? What if that's just a thought pattern that we're buying into, unless we choose not to? What if our attractiveness arises from within? What if it's innate? What if it is within allowing ourselves to truly be who and how we are that makes us attractive? I'll say that again. What if it is allowing ourselves to be truly who and how we are that makes us attractive? Think about it. We know that there is a certain magnetism and innate attractiveness that emanates from those people who are genuinely confident, who are at peace with and in full ownership of themselves, who know themselves and allow themselves to be. It's a very attractive quality. Now, of course, I recognize that deciding not to live in accordance with the expectations of others feels risky. It feels unsafe. Sometimes, maybe lots of the time, to love ourselves, we have to risk rejection from others. And trust me, I'm no stranger to the fear of rejection. As queer people, I was led to believe in my life that when you come out, and that's it, you've done it, you're out. But the truth is, we have to come out again and again and again. We have to face rejection from our families of origin, from our peers, from strangers in public, from bosses and companies and clients. And then we have to face rejection from within the queer community. It'll become a surprise as no one in the community, and perhaps to a few of you out of it, that it's not a monolithic group. We don't all think the same. We're just as diverse as the rest of society, and just as prone to prejudice. Perhaps even more so. I sometimes think as we carve out our space, as we find our tribe, we create us and them polarities. There's like us and the other not like us. And I think this happens for everyone with body shaming as well. Right? We are either in the attractive in group or out. And our primitive brains, coming right back from our cave societies, part of our, primitive brain is still living in that cave society, fears rejection as the ultimate danger. Right? To get rejected from the tribe was to be kicked out, to not have support, to not have food, comfort, safety, was to die. And this fear, this innate primitive fear of dying, causes us to reject ourselves to stay part of the tribe. Rejecting ourselves, of course, gives rise to shame. I believe that shame comes from accepting the thoughts of others over ourselves. Decide that what is true for us isn't right, or doesn't matter, or isn't important. I want to invite you to reject that idea, to instead honor yourself. Allow who you are. Throughout humanity's past, right, in different cultures and different times, different physical attributes have been idolized, right? Different things have been considered attractive. It goes from the voluptuous curves of Paleolithic Venus figurines right through to, the carefully curated and filtered feeds of Instagram, right? And so it's worth asking here, is the collective thinking, if you've bought into that, is it helping? Is agreeing with the group about what is attractive, what is something to be proud of and what's not, is that serving me? Does that enrich and empower my life? And if it's not, know that you don't have to agree with the group. You can choose differently. And remember that the idols of our past and present are often the exception. They're the ones who are different. They're unusual. They stand out. Now, of course, to stand out requires vulnerability, requires courageousness. But those are powerful strengths and eminently admirable. What if our worthiness is not dependent on anyone else's opinion? What if it is absolute? It is just given. What if it's true, right? That we are worthy regardless of whether we think thoughts that agree with that or not. What if it's just true? I also want to offer that worthiness is available to us as soon and as simply as when we think worthy thoughts about ourselves. What if you are already 100% worthy? Can you allow yourself to feel your worthiness? If you're like me, that might take some practice. So I want to offer you some tools, some suggestions, some ideas that can help you move on this journey if you'd like to. And I want to start with 2 simple affirmations. An affirmation, of course, is just a thought you can practice on purpose. Like, I surrender to my worthiness. I stop resisting it or fighting it or denying it. I surrender to my worthiness, completely and wholly as I am. Leads me to my second affirmation. I accept myself fully. I love myself unconditionally. Accept myself fully. I love myself unconditionally. Did you know that that's a choice that's available to you? It's a choice that's available to all of us. This is my body right now. And I have the choice to love it and accept it, appreciate it, to celebrate it, or to reject it. And I think there's a disconnect that happens. Think about our culture and think about how much is on physical appearance determining attractiveness, right? There's a disconnect that happens when we focus on trying to look good or to be a certain way, right? And by the way, just notice the inherent judgment in that. What is good? According to whom? Right? So there's this disconnect that happens when we focus on trying to look good or to be a certain way. And then we end up with a dysfunctional relationship with our mind, with our thoughts about how we're supposed to be in our body. And instead, I want to invite you into trying to feel good. When we focus on feeling good, we're focusing on a relationship with our body. So let me ask you today, and take a moment to consider. Do you have a healthy relationship with your body? How do you talk to your body? Is it abusive? So often we say things to ourselves that we would never say to a friend, a loved one, someone else. By the way, if it is abusive, if you're saying mean, horrible, hateful, hurtful things, you can switch. If it's an unhealthy relationship with ourselves, then we need to break up with those thoughts that are giving rise to our shame. And instead, choose new thoughts. So how do you do that? Firstly, I invite you to switch to neutral language. Just notice the language that you're using, and can you switch it to neutral, to a place of accepting? Instead of I hate my body, can you go to this is my body right now? In this moment, this is my body. This is my weight right now. These are my physical attributes right now. Right? These are my physical attributes right now. What about these are my physical attributes right now? Can you take ownership of them? Here is exactly where I am and exactly where I'm meant to be right now. Can't be otherwise. From that place, right, can I come to loving what is, then move to change, right? I want to share this insight that came to me that's really changed my thinking about that. I hear so many clients talk to me like, I am fat. And I want you to switch that. You're not are fat. You have fat stored on your body. Just like you have fingernails. But you aren't fingernails. It's not that you are fingernails. We don't think of ourselves that way, right? So just watch that language, right? Notice the inherent judgment that's in there, right? We think at this time in our culture that fat is bad or ugly or unhealthy, is disgusting or gross or awful, right? I hear this so often. Says who? You don't have to believe that. So can you switch to neutral? This is my body right now. This is the physical attributes of my body in this moment. And I wonder, can you reach for appreciation? Can you look for gratitude? What can your body do? What has it done for you? What is it doing for you right now? Even things you're not aware of. Right? How many processes and functions are going on that are amazing? Right? We don't have to think about our heart beating or our lungs breathing. We don't have to think about repairing our body from injury or illness. Maybe it is something we think about at the moment in the pandemic, but think about our immunity, all of our processes, our skin cells constantly repairing and generating, our hair growing. Well, sometimes. So many amazing things are happening in your body, even just your brain thinking right now. Can you appreciate them? Can you appreciate what you can do, what you have been able to do up until now, that your body's kept you alive and to this point? Can you reach for appreciation? The next stage is to think about noticing how it feels to be in your body. Notice a minute ago I said there's so many processes we don't have to think about, but think about what it feels like to be in your body. Not the thoughts about your body from outside, from your mind judging in, but from within your body. If you've got extra weight in your belly or your thighs, right? Maybe you've got, a scar or a birthmark. Maybe there's some other, freckles, I don't know, something that you don't like about your body. Just notice how it feels to be in that body from the inside out. Chances are, without your judgment of it, probably feels all right. Can you connect to appreciation for it? If you can, then ask, what do you like about your body? What do you like about your body? Can you find 1, 2, 5, 10,000 things? What are the parts of your body that you do appreciate, that you can have gratitude for and joy in? What can you delight in today? Remember, it's not just the look, although you might find things you can delight in looking, but also in feeling. What can you delight in? Right? When we feel good, we are attracted to ourselves. We exude confidence. And it's available to us if we go looking, if we do the work of practicing thoughts that reinforce what we appreciate, what we love, what we celebrate. So I want you to think about, what gift could you give your body today? Maybe it's as simple as thinking nicer thoughts about it, or giving it good fuel, or healthy movement. Maybe it's simple as having a shower. What a gift to cleanse your body. About grooming, brushing your hair. What about thanking it for all that it is in this moment, and all that it has done for you to bring you to now? Thank you, heart, for beating. Thank you, lungs, for inflating and filtering in oxygen. Thank you for repairing injury. Thank you for allowing me to move, to hear and see and smell and think, to experience my life. Can you celebrate the amazing piece of machinery that you have at your disposal, this vessel that you get to live in? can you find that place of loving yourself? And then if you desire change coming from that, remember, we have to start the work, if we're not there, of practicing loving thoughts about ourselves at some point. Might as well start now. So, I'd love for you to let me know, what's one small action that you could take today to love your body more? What's one small action you could take to celebrate who you are in this moment? Now, if you do need help working through your thoughts about your body or choosing to change from a place of love, then please reach out to me. You can book a consultation at livemorelife.com.au. And of course, if you have a different lived experience, okay, I don't presume to speak for everybody, but if you have a different lived experience and you wish to share, or if anything that I've spoken about today resonated with you, I'd love to continue the conversation. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you want to make it private, my DMs are open. I appreciate you for watching. I celebrate you. You are worthy. With that, I invite you, go think some loving thoughts about yourself. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.